All right, attempt number 2, episode 64 of Into the Cubieverse, and we are hopefully live again.
Well, wait a second. There we go. This is our second time doing this intro, so I'm going to be a little briefer with it because sorry we didn't hit start the last time. The Cubieverse was a GPS-based game where you would use keys, walk to get keys, use keys to open trivia vaults, answer those trivia questions to earn rewards, use those rewards to enhance your in-game experience with the hope of someday being able to convert them to real-life rewards. Unfortunately, that does not seem to be happening now with the Cubieverse, as we may have come to the end. Thank you for joining us tonight. Get ready as we take you into the Cubieverse one last time, at least, to say goodbye. I'm Magic Dragon, along with Atrocities and Goldwing.
Hey,
Hello.
everybody.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. We had done all this once before and forgot to hit the right button, so we're doing it again. I don't know if you could hear anything
It
before.
wouldn't be Into the Cubieverse if we didn't have technical issues.
In true Into the Cubieverse fashion, here we are.
We did
Problematic.
sound issues before we started, so that's fixed at least.
Yeah.
Can you get that?
Hopefully that's fixed.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So, this week, sorry, I should say the beginning of the weekend, started out with quite a bang, didn't it?
It did.
So it was.
Normally in this part of the show, we would talk to you about our week in the Cubieverse and how it was, and then get into the show. But we all pretty much had the same experience this week, having a good progression in the Cubieverse, and then suddenly smacked with the announcement that the Cubieverse may no longer continue. I'm hoping that's not the case, and that it's just Cubieverse isn't continuing, and there's a rebrand, or the Hail Mary is caught, and we continue. But we'll see.
Well, as Atrocities had mentioned in one of the first Discord chats or Discord messages that we got about it, kind of going, oh my god, it's not April the 1st. I was kind of thinking myself, what is this? What like how can we spin this that this is a joke? But here we are.
I don't know. Something catastrophic must have happened, in my opinion, for it to go from 2 weeks ago talking about the whole new relaunch seasons, all the excitement and everything, to just decide to stop. I have some speculation on what that was. I have no reason to think that.
Well,
we know it was confirmed in some of the chats by Illusion Weaver himself that it's costing over $200,000 per month to keep the Cubieverse running.
Yeah, that seemed quite pricey to me. When I heard that number. But if they're, if it's cost, if at the end of the day, it's a financial decision. They're not even make it profitable. 200,000 seems like there might be an extra zero in that number, but whether it's 200 or 20, you can only take losses for so long. It's unfortunate. I know
it is.
But to your point, the last Hunter's Lodge, that seemed like they had a solid new direction. The Cubicoin was going to be an actual cryptocurrency. They had plans to, launch and sell it. And I think my gut says is that was the intention. And they went out, they were going to fund the game by sales of the Cubicoin as a crypto outside of the game, and they just couldn't get investors, right?
Yeah, or they thought they had an investor who was locked in, proceed with everything, and it fell through. or something on the approval ratings of things went against them last minute for not being able to convert the crypto coin or something. To answer a question in the chat right away, why did they do a country launch recently if they're only going to shut down a few days later?
I think
Well, see,
clearly
that
they,
says to me they had fully thought that things were moving forward, and this really was something catastrophic that happened that forced their hand and
and
probably shut them.
and it also seemed like this was just sprung on Illusion Weaver as well, right? Same day, it was announced, like it was probably announced to him in the morning or shortly
Yeah.
before it was announced to everybody else, right? So
Yep.
And 45 employees was coming here, so they have 45 employees. Like, that seems like a lot,
Yeah.
right? It's looked to me like Illusion Weaver was working from home. They had, a development company in South America that was helping them develop.
Yeah.
But I don't know
They were making money everywhere they could, but they still had to spend money and they were still had to get paid.
So why were they going hard on opening up all these other countries though? Like
because they thought everything was going to work.
Pardon?
Because they thought everything was going forward and going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I assume there was
it kind of reminds me of the old adage of getting too big too quick, right? Like the old market.
Yeah, I assume you had a Illusion Weaver developing the game, pushing, expanding it, and then you had Cocoa Puffs in the background on the business side of it, and he was, and I think he was really the money guy. And at the end of the day, that next round of financing, whatever, just didn't come through, and just couldn't get it. And I think. Yeah. From the point of view of why are they launching these countries, because you're trying to launch, you're trying to get a player base. I think the intention was, if once they got to a critical mass of players, the game could kind of reach its vision of being a service that could, people would want to reach out to and pay to either launch new Cubicoin through or Cubicoin crypto through, or do some sort of, product ad placement or whatever.
I think that was the downfall was not getting enough new players in the game to meet those criteria and those goal to meet those points.
And I know
I'm all over the place. Sorry, guys.
I think we're all there. A little discombobulated with the whole situation. Like, I know when we tried to pitch the game to people that we knew, you talk about it and whatnot, and I think a lot of people initially thought it was just too good to be true. I mean, you go back to Coin Hunt World, and it's like, you can play this game and actually get cryptocurrency rewards out of it, and they actually pay out. And it's not like, here's a month of effort and you get like 2 cents of Bitcoin out of it. No, you were getting, like, at one point, their gold miner, we were pulling probably close to
80 to 100 a week.
Yeah, like
how much?
Yeah, there were some weeks that it was transferring over $80 to $100 in a weekly basis.
Yeah,
and I know we have. Well, I can't say we. I know I have something like 4,000 in crypto right now, strictly from Coin Hunt World days. Obviously, with fluctuations, it goes up and down, but that just goes to show you, like, none of that was my own money. That was all Coin Hunt World money.
Yep.
So
when we switched over to Cubieverse, I unfortunately don't think they had a strategic plan to move forward, a sustainable one, anyways. Which shows why there were so many different changes in direction with what was happening in the game, right? Even as of like the gift cards.
Yep.
Looking back, I think the gift cards could have been a good way to actually grow the game for players because it was easy to explain. I need to show them. I would have paid personally. I was thinking about this. Depending who they could have partnered with, I would have paid anywhere up to from 25 to 50% of what I was taking out to get it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if I could get a $50 Tim Hortons gift card, or it had to cost me $25 into the game, I would pay $25 for a $50 gift card.
All right, for sure.
I think a lot of people would do that. I don't not rather than instead of these smaller amounts, you're paying $1 for $9 to take out. Well, I would pay $4.50 for a $10 gift card. However, it would have worked. I know there's a lot of regulation that they had to deal with too, and the iOS systems, and just trying to make everything work together. But I think my point was, the gift cards, I don't think it went long enough for anybody to try and put money into the game to take out the gift cards, because everyone's waiting for the next thing that they say is going to happen before we start spending money in the game.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, by the time we got it, like in Canada at least, by the time we got Tim Hortons enrolled in Canada, the first people got them built and ready to export. There might have been like a week where you could viably get an export, because after that first week or so, there was like some technical issues, and then it never got fixed or opened up again, and there were other gift cards.
Yeah.
And if you recall, like, that's about when we lost Lionheart off the show, because he had big plans around that, and he had rented space in his company newsletter to advertise the game, and Tim Hortons, the whole thing, and then just boom, you know?
Yeah, it was like a big slap in the face to him, because he really thought that was the direction they chose, and we were going, and had a big referral system all in place, and he thought it was going to be awesome. And I can see that vision as well. So that vision would have been easier for us old timers, whatever, to understand and get behind, maybe.
Yeah.
Gruntle did say here that the players that they invited stopped playing because there were no vaults around them and they got bored. That, like, in all honesty, that can be a big issue. Like, if you're Magic Dragon being rural, I know you guys have set up a nice hunting zone for you guys, but like anywhere, like even south side of our city is kind of crappy. Yeah. Or the far west side of the city. Like, it all depends on what part of the city you're in, and if there's been past players in that area. I don't know why they wouldn't have allowed more vaults out there to begin with. Like, I realized during Coin Hunt World, because each vaults were paying out, and that's one thing. But they're not really paying out per se here. Like, you're not being able to exchange it for anything. Why not have more vaults?
Yeah, they almost should have had because they went through the whole, onboarding, new player training sort of stuff, and they developed that tool. Part of that should have been like, okay, you're a new player, new account, you drop your headquarters here, and we're gonna run a point of interest population around you and create. If we don't have 50 vaults within your area, we're gonna drop 50 volts in your area just because you were new player.
That's actually a really good idea there, Atrocities.
Yeah.
Well, they did mention that in the last Hutcher's Lodge, wasn't it? That they had... Oh, no, it was an announcement that came out. That you could ask them to reseed your area or whatever.
Yes.
Look at it first
Yeah.
time.
But if you're a new player, you wouldn't have watched that here lodge, and you wouldn't know to put it in and whatnot. But, I mean, I think, they went through all that effort to put in the system that if you were an inactive player for 4 months, that they would delete all your user structures, which at this point seems like a whole waste of effort.
And if you read Jabone's and Gruntle's latest comments about things are too expensive, I think it was Jabone, Oh, sorry, Nelax and Gruntled. The structure costs were obviously too damn high for people. And they should have had some of those pre-existing structures for people in newer areas. Which is right. Like, if they'd had some of that, like, if they hadn't tried to delete all the ones that people hadn't played on for 4 months, well, then, that gives people a foot up, and cost to build, obviously, is certainly higher as well.
Don't put in a pizza store, put in a sushi store, put in coffee shop all around them that are open to be bought. So at least and they can use them, and then they get all the revenue from it. Like instead of the keys or whatever going back to the owners, they go to the game developers until the new players in the area actually save up enough crystal keys, whatever, to be able to purchase.
Or combine that other system in and say, okay, you know what? You're a new player. You've spawned in. We see a lack of these resources within 2 kilometers of your first headquarters. We're going to spawn in, as those said, those structures. But after 4 months, you're going to have to replace them with other ones because they'll go away. So it gives you 4 months to play and experience the game and do a bunch of stuff.
I suppose he just mentioned something that I wanted to address as well in this show that I think was a big problem was the communication choice using Discord. I've been playing now for 3.5 years or whatever. I still don't fully know Discord. I use it enough to get a hold of my buddy quest people. But I'm not getting a lot of communication there. I'm not giving feedback there. There's communication system could have been better for
and then flip that around to all these new areas that they were wanting people, like all these new countries. Well, how do you find out about this game in a new country that they've just added? They're not advertising stuff like that, are they? Like, because I know Trotsky stumbled upon it somehow. I don't even know how he found it back when it was Coin Hunt World, but
I found a magazine article discussing it.
Really?
Yeah.
And what?
I can't remember what it was, but it was. I was looking for crypto games, and this one came up, and it was a story of, some player who flew out to Hawaii to get the purple vault that was associated when they opened it up there, and earned $5,000. And I'm sure some of the old time players would know the name of what that was. Yeah, Black Boy. Black Boy did that. There you go. So I was talking about that. So it was good. Obviously, it's a good article, good whatever. Got me interested in checking it out. But without a doubt, now maybe as players we didn't see some of the ads they were pushing out or so, but
But yeah.
But likewise, too good to be true. Like with which is where people get suspicious, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, do you remember back when we were in Vegas for Coin Hunt Fest?
Yeah.
How a lot of people were wearing those shirts that they gave us, and people were actually stopping, going, "Hey, what are you guys doing? And where are you guys going?" And so the truck driving around. It got people chatting about it. Where obviously you can't have people walking around randomly. Like if just 2 of us were walking wearing the same shirt, nobody's going to stop and ask it.
But the city events, they could have. Yeah. Like we could have done. We haven't done another city event since the last one we did. Right? But that requires someone like Atrocities to set it up again because he's an ambassador for the game. There's a lot of things
that could have done that.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you've done it. You know what to do. There's nothing really in the game that explains how to do that. So if you don't already know about it or know how to do it, it's probably not going to get done.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump back. So Block Boy flew out to Hawaii and ended up being the first one out there or something and won $5,000?
He flew out there and answered I think it was a Purple Vault question or something like that. They put a Purple Vault in there. Flew it out. They must have just opened up out there, or they did something. They put a Purple Vault in Hawaii, and Black Boy flew out and obviously paid for his trip by getting $5,000 worth of crypto as a result
Nice.
of it.
So, could you imagine getting, like, obviously he was a pre-existing player then, but could you imagine putting your purple key in and losing that? Like, get the question wrong. Woo! It's bad enough losing that one red key I lost.
Yeah, yeah. I think it must have been during the first Hawaii event. It must have been. They must have had a Hawaii event out to do that.
Is that purple vault still out there in Hawaii?
No,
No.
no.
It was just during
like those like they used to have purple vent, you know how the red vault spawns. Well, I think the intention was to have at one point they had some purple vaults that spawn the same way.
Atrocities, you just started glowing there.
Did I?
Yes, you're beautiful.
Blockboy also flew to UK to open the purple one in London. And did he do that? Did he actually get the purple one open in London as well? And what did he get for that?
Same thing.
He did actually correctly answer. So 5,000 in crypto back in those days.
Yeah.
If he'd left that as is, I'm sure that would have been a nice little tidy profit after what the market's done.
Oh, I'm sure.
So were there only the 2 purple vaults? Because this is the first I'm hearing of that. Atrocities, you were holding out information on me.
Well, what was to say? There wasn't a purple vault in the game when we were playing, right? So.
Huh. I see. Obviously, we talk a lot. So.
That's it.
So Blockboy should buy the CVIP.
Right. So.
Yeah.
You know, who knows?
What's
Hopefully, like games are shut down in the past, and then there's like been a player community involvement that has created emulators to get them back up and running and whatnot. But Coin Hunt Cubieverse probably not gonna be something like that. So work like that, unfortunately. Hopefully they do find a new player, like ownership or players or so, because like like the last event, the Magical Forest event here, that was a really good event, right? Like they're getting events and stuff happening. That a lot of things were really starting to come together.
Which we should take a moment to realize, like, I'm sure they were all trying their hardest to keep things running and going. So whatever happened to the final straw to break the back, it had to be a shocker to them too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they've been working every single day with the goal that it was going to succeed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So, as much as we can blame them, sure they didn't see this coming either. Maybe they saw it coming a little bit before we did.
Well, clearly they knew they weren't growing the way they wanted to be growing. They weren't being as profitable the way they wanted to be. As players, certainly had the feeling like that because, I could see like, our position in Ontario every month kind of fell down a bit. Like it required more effort to stay higher. And it fell down slightly in Canada and the world, but I'm still relatively well positioned, right? But at the end of the month,
So,
right?
It wasn't growing as fast as it could be or should be to sustain it. And like honestly, as someone who doesn't really get a lot of this stuff, didn't see how they were making any money at all. And for me, any money I put back into the game were just keys or walking or QB coins, convert to crystal keys. So, unfortunately, they never made a cent off me that I know of. Maybe they got a kickback from whoever runs the crystal keys. Like I don't understand any of that stuff. However, that being said, if they put something in the game, like a pop-up ad that I had to watch every 50 volts or 10 volts or something, like a 15-second ad or something, I'd have been okay with that. I'd have kept playing the game. Get your money. Then is there a paid option where I can get rid of the ads for a year or 3 months at a time? Like I'll pay that $5 or whatever it is to get rid of that.
Well, I think that, like, one, I agree. If they had a pop up ad in order to open up my daily 50 key box or so, I'd be cool with that, right? But how much revenue is that really going to bring in, right? Not
Yep.
some.
You
It's a
don't.
drop in the bucket.
There are
Right.
companies survive off of ads.
Sure, but I'm talking in this case. I'm watching one ad a day to open up my 50
Yeah,
keys.
one.
Maybe more than just one though. Maybe it's
Yeah.
not only at the 50 key drop. Maybe
Yeah.
if you want to go look into the auction house, or maybe if you want to check your resources.
Your Cubie's leveling up. You're trying to do a pizza quest, your sushi quest. You know, you want to every 25th volt. You know,
Right.
every 10 volts would get annoying. 25 I'd be okay with. You know, I'm trying to think from a gamer point of view
Yeah.
as well, what I would be okay with doing.
You're right,
Right?
because that is the thing with most most of these mobile games. They hit you with ads and stuff like that, or they do stuff, and that's how they're, earning a lot of the revenue. But I really appreciate the fact that that wasn't part of Coin Hunt World, right? Like you
Yeah.
weren't constantly being bombarded with this
No.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
he was against ads, right? He
Right?
did not want ads in the game. So
Yeah, and
I
that's
respect his decision. But as a Diskin in the chat just said he was against it, but it could have saved the game.
Mhm.
they could have, and maybe if somebody, and at this point, if they came back and said, guys, you know what, we found a savior here, but we got to put ads in. I think most players would be cool with that at this point, right? You'd be like,
And
hey,
that would be getting rid of the mopey butt that this guy's been having all weekend long.
right?
He's been moping around the house.
For sure.
I was doing well. I was staying optimistic until today, and the show looming and everything. For the first time in a month and a half, I only had 3 walking bowls. I didn't even push to my wife to say I fell to 22nd in the world, 8 in the country, and 5 locally. So it was your chance yesterday to gain on Magic Dragon. Did I let it go? But I'm gonna keep going. Like this motivates me to walk. It really does.
I kind of feel like I'm hopeful that something's going to happen to save this at the last minute. In saying that, I forced Atrocities out last night, and I'm like, I'm pulling all my good cubies off my trade checks, because if it takes away, like if something rehappens and we have to restart but we still have our inventory, I want all my good stuff in my inventory. So
it was also right. It was also Trade Shack night, where normally we're up to go on Trade Shack night. I'm like, Trade Shack.
No.
Like who cares? I don't.
I said we need to go get our trade checks tonight, and he's like, no, there's no sense now. So he's being all mopey pants.
Yeah.
I dragged him out anyway, so we emptied out all of our trade checks and changed our cubies in there. Lots of elves out now if anybody's needing some here in London.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, John's 100%. This game, because of this game, I've been walking a minimum like 7 kilometers a day. Without the game, I was not doing anything, right? So, but my first thought of the Hail Mary was kind of sneaky, that the announcement of closing down was in a way the Hail Mary, hoping that all the players would rush out, start spending their crystal keys and their things to convert things to the blockchain, and that money somehow got back to them. But then I'm like, oh no, you can only print your cubies to the blockchain if they're level 20 or higher. So now you've got a $9,000 gym or 18, however much the gym cost was too much. That I think that there's probably still not even enough gyms for people to have leveled up to 20 in most places. So I
Yeah,
don't think
and
many of us can jump to the
Illusion
blockchain.
Weaver did comment that he's trying to lower that to level 10.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's there. But yeah, like we went out
Yeah.
and Gold Miner, you did some exporting
Yeah, I did export 5.
NFTs.
Thank you. Yes. Not sure what I can do with them now, but one of them was the one that we were in the top 5, so that was good. And then
Blanco
obviously,
Gaming, it's
The
QB
cubies
levels.
have to be one.
Epic
Currently.
QBs. It's
Epic
only Epic
cubies
QBs of level 20.
can be exported at this time. Yeah. Now, yours, crystal keys, are they specific to Cubieverse only, or is that something that's used in other games too?
Cubieverse.
specific, isn't
Okay.
it?
I don't know. Like honestly, I'm trying to figure out where the money comes from, right? The
Mhm.
players named crystal keys in the game
So
send money back to the team.
yeah, so we bought crystal keys, right? We purchased crystal keys, right? Like when game first, Cubieverse first launched, we bought the $100 option on crystal keys each,
Yeah.
to get things going. And then when we were doing our big building run, we bought some more. Now I was using my Google Play rewards, because Google
Yeah.
Play you can get
Yeah. Same here.
points, and I was using those to buy um, crystal keys. So it wasn't real money from my perspective, but they would have gotten paid dollars out of that.
Okay.
And then of
Oh,
course,
and that I did actually spend Google Play rewards money on crystal keys in the past too. So sorry, the game has got money from me, but not real
Yeah,
money because it's survey money.
I think when we first started, we had to buy some, and then I know when we were building, we had to buy some more as well. But that, like when we were trying to go for the top 5, but that was the only thing that we put in.
Okay.
RX Wings said, "Is that why there was a pizza
Yeah.
on my trade check?" I didn't put a pizza on my trade check, did I?
one
I
of
put a
them,
Someone-
pizza in my pizza shop.
I think one of
Okay,
them you
but
did.
you not only bought those crystal keys. This is one thing about the concept of the game I think that they maybe didn't think of. You only spent the $100 on those crystal keys because you had played Coin Hunt World, you knew what the game was, and you thought you knew where it was going. A new player starting the game who's never gotten anything out of the game, I'm going to spend $100 so I can build a coffee shop in my town? I don't think so.
Well, you don't need
So I
to
don't-
buy the $100 pack. That's
I know,
they
I just-
did. No, I hear you saying they started to put crystal keys at the top of the Adventure Road, and
Yeah.
those 100 would allow you to build a white user vault, which would kind of get
Yeah.
you your appetite wet for that.
Yep.
And most of the crystal keys that we got were because every week we converted Cubicoin in the crystal keys.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
Yeah.
That's why I spent the thing, right?
Now we spent crystal key on top of that. So every week or every month you're spending half your crystal keys on Adventure Road, which some people, if they don't have enough Cubicoin or new, they want to do that. They, in theory, they're putting money in for that.
Yeah.
We paid for Scottsdale.
We paid for
Crystal-
the Scottsdale and Toronto.
Toronto was, I think Scottsdale was
Yeah.
2,500 and Toronto was 5,000.
Yeah, so that was a big key sink for us.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
those were all from going to the vending machine at that point.
yeah, but new players may not have a vending machine near them, right? And but that's one of the things I've said on the show many times. Hey, one of the first things you want to build is that vending machine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then as I said, for rural players, it made it difficult. We had an advantage here because when we started playing, there were previous gen players that built up stuff around our house.
Yeah.
that we took advantage of, and then we were able to build, on top of that in our area and build up. So our you know, our
Yeah.
right around our place, our best hunting grounds are probably as populated as most people can get, right? So, super advantage for us. However,
Really
new
nice.
players. The other issue I'm gonna say, or failure per se, or problem with the game design was a lot of these mobile games and whatnot. They sell different skins, right? Your player looks different. Well, basically, every cubie is a skin, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of the game. Is you're going out collecting the cubies and getting the resources to get the cubies. So having cubies in the game that you're paying for, it's kind of counterproductive. You can't do that, right? Just the way the game is designed. So,
Yeah. Another small obstacle, failure, whatever you want to call it. I really like the tagging system for what you're building in certain places, but I really miss the take a photo of the area you're in. I want a vault right here because this is the. I remember when I used to be able to put vaults in by submitting something through. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but that's how we got the number of locations in our rural town. Was walking saying, "Hey, when we put one right here, it would check the GPS coordinates." I think that stopped after they switched away from Google Maps. They couldn't verify things so much. But I liked that. I mean, that was simple. That was you want a new vault in your area, your small town. Take a picture, let us see your area. We'll do it.
That I must say was kind of annoying that we had to do the pictures. Like, I know we were having trouble placing some vaults in the residential area at the time, and they're like, it was frustrating that way. When we went to Coin Hunt Fest, we were talking to some Americans because it basically sounded like for us we couldn't build it because it wasn't on a bus stop, but yet they're like, well, we can place it wherever we want and it will get approved. It's like, why can't we place it in front of somebody's house and not be approved?
Every system had glitches, but it was definitely helpful. I have for tags, then I have to learn how to do open street maps, then I have to make an account for this and one for that, and log in and try and figure out how to put a tag somewhere. Then I have to wait for them to do the poll. Like, at least the other way was a lot more user friendly. Is all I was saying.
So
I found it wasn't as user friendly because they kept rejecting all of our spots, so it took a long time to get a decent.
Whether they reject it or accept it, it was user friendly in the fact that you could do it easily. You started. Well, I do like the tags where now the bus stop tags you can get an approval right away, and other tags that are common you can just do it yourself without them needing to approve it. But it's
so I'm gonna say we're getting late in the show here. And I think we can all agree that the things we were talking about are problem areas that kind of hinder their ability to grow the game and make things happen. And I think they were addressing, and they've made significant improvements, but at the end of the day they just couldn't get the player base to go. But I kind of like to shift topics slightly here, and just say, like 3.5 years, been playing Cubieverse for and Coin Hunt, and it's really been a great experience. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard going forward, getting adjusted. I know I'm, logging in the last day or two since the announcement and whatnot, but I've still got all my adventure road quests done today. I don't think I got many walking steps. Went out golfing today and didn't get any walking steps, right? So, but at least I can still log into the game. Once the game goes, I think it's gonna be hard. Because I think it's been a big positive influence on a lot of our lives. Like to thank Illusion Weaver because he really made something special for a lot of players.
He did.
Right?
You know, yeah, I really find it. Part of me finds it actually hard to believe that with this infrastructure and layout now, that someone's isn't going to scoop it up and use it for something else or continue the game because it is. I think it's quite remarkable and I think it's great.
Yeah, and maybe what they do is, they take it, they rebrand in another game or whatever. They change their handles. They're no longer Illusion Weaver and whatnot. And that way no one can bitch about, hey, this is what you guys promised 5 years in Coin Hunt World.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
but overall, like, it's kind of been a little baby that we've grown up with. Met a lot of people. Going to Las Vegas during the event, going to Scottsdale, going to Toronto. Not to mention even just the local meetups that we've had. It's really fun to have had that. I know the cubies, you're talking about the skins versus the cubies. I've enjoyed collecting my cubies. I'm really sad that I'm losing my cubies on all of this. Even if they were level 20, which they aren't, there would still be a ton that I'd be not able to get out of the system. But it's going to be a sad moment. Like, how many times are we going to be driving by and go, oh, my trade check's not there anymore. Or there's a blue vault at this corner. Or, it's going to take quite a while to lose all of that information from your mind and forget that you don't need to, like, pick up your phone all the time. However, on the one side, like, I know as upset as Atrocities is about it, I'm kind of looking forward to being able to have more conversation and maybe do other things other than driving around during events, going hunting. And, our walking has not been as good lately as it should have been by this time of the year. But, I'll really miss that. But we're going to have to still do that.
A lot of met a lot of great people. Still chat with them. We got some Discord things that I think will probably, those things always be active, I imagine, at some point.
Well, we have met some great people through all of that, and and that, like, it's sad. It's sad whether you meet them once or twice or whatnot, but
for sure
hard to find people on Facebook when you don't know them other than by their game names as well. So
did I. So did I. Every adventure road so far I've completed. Atrocities has not.
So Atrocities did get some good news, but he got to have to go, oh, why now? When he printed something the other day.
Well, yeah. So once they after the announcement, I came home and said, well, okay, I guess I'm not going to save my resources. I'm going to start printing stuff now. So I started with the elves, and I got about 3 cubies. I think my third one I printed was the rare Balermo, or what's it called?
Nice.
So, like, yay, but bittersweet at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was that. I printed my chromatic cubie blueprint, which I've held on to for about a year. And,
I still have 2.
Right. I print them to figure out what the hell. I might as well see who I'm going to get. No sense holding on to them now. Where were my 2? My 2 were, my second, the one I printed was, give me a second here. What was her name? Like Sally or something like that?
No.
Okay. I still have 2 left. I don't know what I'm doing. If they're saving all.
Got a Marsha.
I'm still hoping that the game's going to be saved. So.
Marsha.
It's a pink one. It's actually kind of cute, as Gold Miner said.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty.
Yeah. So.
Insane.
Gamey says he's never printed his Silver OG QB, so hey, now might be the time.
So last night I sent a message to Illusion Weaver thanking him for the game and how it's brought a lot of friendships through this game and meeting people, and anyways, I did ask for a rare / unique blueprint, not blueprint. Sorry, get blueprint out of there.
Loot code.
A rare / unique loot code for something for all of us. Even though the game is ending, I thought it might be nice if we could all have something.
Happy ending.
Not, yeah, a happy ending. And
Because
hopefully,
you're right. Because he was putting out some
pictures of dogs and
and
that
there's
other.
a railroad guy, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So I was kind of hoping for something extremely unique. I didn't give you the loot code, and it's on my phone. Anyways, when do you want me to give that out?
Well, you should look it up right now and give it out right now.
Okay, well, just 1 second here.
And it makes sense to me though, like until the very end, he's gonna keep posing like things are working and gonna be good, right? So I'm glad he's still posting pictures of the dogs and dropping little hints. What's the
Yeah.
word they use all the time? Nuggets? No, that's not
Um,
it.
ju-
No.
not juice.
Crumbs.
Beans.
Beans.
Beans. There you go. Yes, beans.
Beans.
So, anyways, the loot code is 8348. I have no idea how many prints are on there. He never did say. He said, I'll make a loot code with a Cubie. That's the rarest I think I can make. So it's 8348. I'm not sure if you want me to tell you what it is or let people be
Let
surprised.
people be surprised. We'll see. 8348.
Eight.
Sure.
And hopefully people enjoy it. And I'm hoping to get a railroad guy, but we'll do that. You
I
know,
hope it's a
As
beauty.
I said, I have no idea how many prints or how many uses it has on it, but it is a QB. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's one that we haven't had before. Maybe it is, and maybe it's still a very rare one and might be worth some big bucks.
right? And clearly the hardcore people watching the show are going to be rushing out to get it. But
Yeah. Well,
So
3 people already dropped the show since you announced the loot code, so I think 3 are on the way right now.
So if we're coming to the end here, I would personally like to say thanks to all the people that have come in and to chat with us on here. So along with Atrocities and Magic Dragon, myself, obviously, we've had RX Wings, we've had Rashu, we've had a Posey 2, we've
Plumber
had
Boy,
Plumber Boy, we've had DZ from the Berg.
Yeah.
Who am I
Lionheart,
missing?
of course,
Lionheart.
and our original London OG player of
Yeah.
Wister William.
Oh, yeah.
No,
wait.
then
I need some help with the chat because I'm being outvoted 2-1 right now. I want to keep doing our Sunday shows for as long as the game is running.
we are forgetting somebody though. We are forgetting the military guy from Montreal.
So if you guys could, in the chat, say, yes, keep doing your shows on Sunday until the game's done.
Luke.
I would
Luke
do
Van. Luke Van.
Luke Venn.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it.
Nobody is saying anything about multiple shows while the game's still on. Chucky Fred says
No,
yes.
you talk over me so they couldn't hear me. Look, there's one yes already.
Yes, they want to end.
And,
Luke
I-
Venn.
someone
this point-
reached out to me today. Someone reached out on Facebook yesterday to me saying they need an emergency show. I told them, yeah, I'm looking for it. Talking about it for tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have more information. And we had the show as normal tonight. If you don't message in the chat tonight, but you want more shows or updates, just reach out on Facebook into the Cubieverse. Pretty easy to remember for our Facebook page. You can
Or
message it.
Discord.
I just like if there's no Cubieverse, it's hard to take you into the Cubieverse, you know. So,
Yeah.
and if there's nothing happening other than everyone's just waiting for Amazon to figure out they're not getting paid and turn off the game,
Yeah.
then you know. But you know, I'm, you know, I will see. Because at the end of the day, I want to say, first of all, personally, I know Goldminer said thank you, but I do want to say thank you for everybody that's joined us live tonight and whoever has joined us live, especially. And to everybody that watches the show, whether it's live or not. We were
Yeah.
fans of the game. We loved what was going on and wanted to talk about it and do it, and kind of thought, fine, we're going to start this. And lo and behold, year and a half later, we are, people have support us, which is obviously amazing to do that. So we really appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
And so I thank you all for that. And, it's cool to meet people when we could. As thankful to all the people that were willing to come on and be hosts and guests with us, because I know a lot of times people came on and they were a little, hesitant per se until they got on. It was cool. And most of all, Matt Dragon, I want to thank you because you're the first guy when I kind of came with this idea that I reached out to that said yes. You could have said no and might have killed it right then. So thank you.
I'm the first guy you came to that said yes, or I'm the first guy that you came to?
You're the first guy I came to, and you said yes. Right?
Well, that's what I
Right? For sure.
I don't want to, for me to say because they've already given their thank yous. But I thank you all for putting up with us, putting up with me, Gold Miner and Atrocities. We haven't always said what you wanted to hear, but we meant everything we said, and we love you guys. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes.
Happy hunting while you can. And if you find something else you're going to be hunting in, let us know about it too.
And we can't forget to say thank you for for being okay with Atrocities ruining names as he says them as well.
Yeah.
No, he butchers the names of everybody.
So that's it for me. I got to sign out now because I'm taking off. But you guys have a great night. Thank you for joining us. Illusion, we appreciate everything you did. I hope it can continue and we will be part of it in the future.
Yeah, and
bye, guys.
Finally, I want to give Lionheart a shout out too, as the other original guy.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Goldminer stepped in. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
Happy hunting. The game survives, but it's been nice chatting.
Yeah, hopefully it's not our last show, but if it is,
we appreciate everything.
We appreciate everything, and you don't have to like, subscribe, or comment below. So, all right. So
okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Out of the Cubieverse. Here we go.